Great to be with you, and thank you to Secretary Wilkie, who's doing an incredible job, I have to say, and also to the great leadership of the Department of Veterans Affairs. Some of those great leaders are with us today. Today, I'm honored to be at the North Las Vegas VA Medical Center to sign into law a historic government funding bill that will renovate our nation's military bases and provide great world-class care to our great veterans. Unless you don't want it. Unless you don't want it. I want to thank your state's great senator, Dean Heller. He has been so helpful. Dean has really been helpful. He's worked all the way, right from the beginning. And this was very important for him. But for working so hard to get the bill passed and get it put right on my desk and to pass the groundbreaking VA reform. There's never been reform like we've been able to do over the last very short period of time. Thank you as well to Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval for being such a strong advocate for Nevada's veterans. We're also, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. We're also very grateful to be joined by Nevada Attorney General Adam Laxalt. Thank you, Adam. Great job. Here he's doing well. To every veteran here today, we are eternally grateful for your noble service to our nation. I would like to ask all of the veterans with us now to please proudly stand. That's great. That's great. You're fantastic people. You're really fantastic people. Please, thank you. You really are. And we're fighting to make sure that you get the care that you so richly earned. And today's legislation is one more promise that the Trump administration is keeping. And we've done a lot of promises, and we've kept them all. And this is another one for the veterans. With this funding bill, we've increased the VA's budget to the largest ever. We are delivering the resources needed to fully implement crucial VA reforms that, as you know, we've gotten. You know the reforms. We're going to go over them in a minute, but they are some reforms. And to deliver for our great veterans, just the way I said I would, constantly on the campaign trail. You backed me and I back you. That's the way it works, right? That's the way it's supposed to work in life. And with our booming economy, which is now, I think we can easily say, the greatest economy maybe we've ever had in our country. Stock markets yesterday, and I believe they're up today, so that means today. But the stock markets yesterday hit the highest they've ever been in the history of our country. And we've broken the record now over 100 times. So we keep breaking it, breaking it. And actually, we have a long way to go. There's tremendous potential. So with our booming economy, I'm also proud to report that the veterans' unemployment recently achieved its lowest level in more than 20 years. That means a lot of jobs are taking place. Last year, I also signed into law the landmark VA Accountability Act. You know all about that. And that was something that was very important to me because you couldn't do anything. You couldn't, if somebody was bad. You get a lot of great people, but you have some bad ones. You couldn't do anything. Now you can do it. So I want to thank the dedicated Veterans Affairs doctors, nurses, and staff members who join us. Now we're finally rewarding the many great people at the VA while also ensuring that those who mistreat our veterans, we had people that really mistreated our veterans, they are now being held accountable. That's why it's called the VA Accountability Act. And they are being held seriously accountable, right, Mr. Secretary? He's had a lot of fun. He's had a lot of fun. We take care of our good ones, and the others are held accountable, right? And there was no way you could hold them accountable. They could be sadists. You had some of them, too. Doesn't sound nice. They could be thieves. They could rob you blind. They could steal money, and you couldn't do anything about it. Now you can do whatever you want. Now you do what's right. And you have a secretary that's doing what's right. He's tough and he's smart. Cool. And I can tell you, this is always a good sign. General Mattis was not happy when I took him out of the Department of Defense. You know, we were going to have him for a short while, and then we said, you know, he's doing so good, we're going to keep him here. He wasn't happy, and that's usually a good sign, isn't it, Governor? When they're not, if they're happy, that's not a good sign. He wasn't happy. He's still not happy, but that's all right. But you're happy, right? In a few months, and a few months ago, I was very proud to sign into law another tremendous victory for our veterans. Maybe this is the one that we kept talking about and talking about. 48 years, they couldn't get it approved. Made so much sense. I used to talk about it because I thought I was this great guy that had this great vision. It's called VA Choice. And I said, you know, if you have lines where you can't see a doctor for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 12 days, 8 days, how about 1 day? No good. I said, I have an idea. Send them out to a private doctor. Got great doctors. And they'll be taken care of immediately. We'll pay the bill. I thought it was like this great idea. Well, they thought about it for 40 years. They couldn't get it passed. We got it passed. So we have now VA Choice. So now if a veteran can't get the care they need from the VA in a timely fashion, they have the right to go see a private doctor. Today, for the first time in American history, I am about to sign a bill that will fully and permanently give our great and cherished veterans choice. So you don't have to wait in line for 18 days to take care of a simple, we had people waiting in line with a simple problem that by the time they saw the doctor, they were terminally ill. No more of that. If you have a line, you go see a doctor. You get yourself taken care of. We take care of it. Okay? Good. It was amazing. It was amazing. You would think that would have been easy to pass? Well, there's a reason it took so many years. It wasn't easy. You have different groups and different people. But in the end, we all came together and we got it done. VA Choice. Here with us today is Vin Putigno, a Vietnam veteran who's a great guy who lives in Las Vegas. And now through the Choice program, he can see the specialist doctors that he needs while still getting his primary care through the VA medical centers like this one. And that's the other thing. There's so many great things that they do that people don't recognize. And you don't have to go out all the time to get what you need, because so much of it is taking place here. We have some tremendously talented people. I always hear about the incredible level of treatment and talent that the doctors have. You have really incredible doctors and nurses. You had to get to them. That was the problem. But you have some tremendously talented people. So, Vin, I'd like you, if you would, to say a few words about VA Choice. Please. Thank you, Vin.
First of all, good morning. Thank you, Mr. President, for those kind words. I wish my mom was here. She wouldn't believe you. Anyway, it's an honor to stand with you today in your continued fight to bring the VA to where it is and should be. Your leadership and your support, specifically for the Veterans Choice Program, and signing this VA Mission Act, when is, from what I understand, is going to be the blueprint of the future of the VA controlled by Secretary Wilkie and yourself. I'm a 100% disabled Marine Corps combat veteran who had the privilege of serving my country during the Vietnam War, and as a part of the 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines, 3rd Marine Division. I've lived here in Nevada for the past 2 years, And because of VA Choice Program, I now receive outstanding treatment by doctors and nurses, both in the VA here and outside to the community, the medical community outside. Like I said, this is a very special situation. I'm getting old. I think a couple of us in here are too. But with this age thing comes, special needs problems. Got a bad heart, got cancer, and just plain old getting old. It's a pain. I wish to share with you a personal story. In the last 5 years, I have had a bleeding ulcer on my toe that we've not been able to fix. And because of the VA choice, I have been able to, with the support of the Veterans Administration, I've been able to find a podiatrist who operated 10 days ago on me. And the man did something that blew my mind. I got home, I took off the boot, there was a little bit of blood, I called. He came and made a house call. Wow. Who does that? Not anymore, right? Anyway, Dr. Wesley Lyon and his staff are treating me, they're taking care of me. And by the way, with this whole upset with this toe, my golf game went right out the window.
Oh, that's terrible.
But there's a chance of it coming back.
It'll come back. It'll be better than that.
Who knows?
Better than that.
I want to thank you, Mr. President, for the commitment that you've made to myself and to my brothers and sister veterans, and those of us from World War II right up to the current time of our existence, of our military people. No longer do they have to, as you just said, do they have to go and stand and wait and not get the proper care. That's all gone away. It's all because of you and because of your staff and your government. And I must say that I really am impressed with the fact that you and your government are really focusing on making the country's promise to us a reality. Because you know what? We earned it.
You did earn it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That's great. Thank you, Vin. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. Take care of that toe. The bill I'm signing today also provides the VA with vital funding for opioid treatment and prevention, a big problem in this country, a big problem here and in the country. For mental health care services, telemedicine, which is the new thing, and more than $1 billion for veterans' electronic health records. We've done a lot of work on health records, and now you're able to transfer easily from Department of Defense to the VA and back and forth. Before it was almost impossible. It was a big thing. Today's funding package also delivers for the men and women now serving in uniform. The legislation includes more than $10 billion to build, renovate, and repair houses, schools, training centers, and other facilities on military bases. They need it. There's been a lot of times gone by, and they're in bad shape, but they'll very shortly be in very good shape. This is terrific news for Nevada's nearly 20,000 active duty and reserve soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and National Guardsmen. We are providing nearly $100 million for 3 bases right here in Nevada: Creech Air Force Base, Nellis Air Force Base, and the National Guard Readiness Center just a few miles away. This bill also includes $15 billion for the Department of Energy's Nuclear Weapons Securities Program, which is so important, to modernize our nuclear arsenal and keep the deadliest weapons from falling into the wrong hands. Finally, we have secured $7 billion for the Army Corps of Engineers to build crumbling ports and waterways and to keep and improve flood and storm barriers so that America remains safe. On Wednesday, I visited North and South Carolina and met with first responders and survivors of Hurricane Florence. incredible people. I was inspired by their unbelievable courage and resilience. Our nation mourns the tragic loss of life. And I don't know if you're aware, but by tomorrow afternoon, massive amounts of water will flood into South Carolina. They got hit, but the big hit comes days later, and it will be the biggest they've ever had. I said, well, is there a chance? I was there. I said, is there a chance that maybe it doesn't show up? They said, nope, it'll be here at about 2:30. And it's going to be very, very bad. But they're ready. They're ready. They're really ready. And folks that in the military and FEMA and first responders, they've been incredible. But our nation mourns the tragic loss of life, and we're moved by the countless ways Americans have come together to rescue those in danger. You see it all the time. You turn on the news at night, and you'll see people being pulled from cars by first responders and the military, FEMA workers, and frankly, citizens that are there. Last night, a car got just taken away by the water with people in it, and they were able to get them out at tremendous danger. Working with state and local leaders, we will not rest until that entire rebuilding, North and South Carolina, predominantly, is complete. Really great leadership in both places. The governors, the senators, I met with everybody, and they're really ready. They're really ready. And North Carolina's largely been hit. They're almost at the stage where they're rebuilding. In South Carolina, as I said, watch tomorrow. It's going to be a tough one. In everything we do and everywhere we go, we are committed to safety, prosperity, and opportunity for all Americans. And for every hero who wears the uniform, and that's really why I'm here today. I love those people who wear that uniform. I love our law enforcement, the job they do. Our firemen and women. These are incredible people. And I think for the most part, our nation is beginning to realize it, maybe more than they ever have before. Incredible people. With this legislation, we are securing a better future for our citizens. We're modernizing our nation's infrastructure. And we are building military bases worthy of our great heroes. We are ensuring that our brave veterans are respected and cherished like never before. And our country is respected again. Our country is respected like never before. It's a big difference. The country is respected again. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to thank you all for being here and just say God bless you. God bless.
All right, folks, welcome. My name is Jen. I'm from Golden State Times. The president is set to, the event with the president and the president of South Korea is set to begin in just a few minutes. We're waiting for the footage from inside the venue where it's going to happen. This is going to be a signing ceremony. So I guess the United States and South Korea have agreed to a new free trade agreement. And that's exactly what this is. So again, it should start in just a few minutes. I'm going to try to get everything ready and make sure that everything is good. So that way you guys can enjoy. It should start in just a few minutes. So like I said, please stay tuned. Please share the live stream on social media and make sure that you guys smack the like button. And I'll be switching it over in just a few minutes as it starts. Thank you.
It's beautiful. Thank you very much. Take care of that toe. The bill I'm signing today also provides the VA with vital funding for opioid treatment and prevention, a big problem in this country, a big problem here and in the country. For mental health care services, telemedicine, which is the new thing, and more than $1 billion for veterans' electronic health records. We've done a lot of work on health records, and now you're able to transfer easily from Department of Defense to the VA and back and forth. Before it was almost impossible. is a big thing. Today's funding package also delivers for the men and women now serving in uniform. The legislation includes more than $10 billion to build, renovate, and repair houses, schools, training centers, and other facilities on military bases. They need it. There's been a lot of times gone by, and they're in bad shape, but they'll very shortly be in very good shape. This is terrific news for Nevada's nearly 20,000 active duty and reserve soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and National Guardsmen. We are providing nearly $100 million for 3 bases right here in Nevada: Creech Air Force Base, Nellis Air Force Base, and the National Guard Readiness Center just a few miles away. This bill also includes $15 billion for the Department of Energy's Nuclear Weapons Securities Program, which is so important, to modernize our nuclear arsenal and keep the deadliest weapons from falling into the wrong hands. Finally, we have secured $7 billion for the Army Corps of Engineers to build crumbling ports and waterways and to keep and improve flood and storm barriers so that America remains safe. On Wednesday, I visited North and South Carolina and met with first responders and survivors of Hurricane Florence. Incredible people. I was inspired by their unbelievable courage and resilience. Our nation mourns the tragic loss of life. And I don't know if you're aware, but by tomorrow afternoon, massive amounts of water will flood into South Carolina. They got hit, but the big hit comes days later, and it will be the biggest they've ever had. I said, well, is there a chance? I was there. I said, is there a chance that maybe it doesn't show up? They said, nope, it'll be here at about 2:30. And it's going to be very, very bad. But they're ready. They're ready. They're really ready. And folks that in the military and FEMA and first responders, they've been incredible. But our nation mourns the tragic loss of life, and we're moved by the countless ways Americans have come together to rescue those in danger. You see it all the time. You turn on the news at night, and you'll see people being pulled from cars by first responders and the military, FEMA workers, and frankly, citizens that are there. Last night, a car got just taken away by the water with people in it, and they were able to get them out at tremendous danger. Working with state and local leaders, we will not rest until that entire rebuilding, North and South Carolina predominantly, is complete. Really great leadership in both places. The governors, the senators, I met with everybody, and they're really ready. They're really ready. And North Carolina's largely been hit. They're almost at the stage where they're rebuilding. In South Carolina, as I said, watch tomorrow. It's going to be a tough one. In everything we do and everywhere we go, we are committed to safety, prosperity, and opportunity for all Americans. And for every hero who wears the uniform, and that's really why I'm here today. I love those people who wear that uniform. I love our law enforcement, the job they do. Our firemen and women. These are incredible people. And I think for the most part, our nation is beginning to realize it, maybe more than they ever have before. Incredible people. With this legislation, we are securing a better future for our citizens. We're modernizing our nation's infrastructure. And we are building military bases worthy of our great heroes. We are ensuring that our brave veterans are respected and cherished like never before. And our country is respected again. Our country is respected like never before. It's a big difference. The country is respected again. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to thank you all for being here and just say God bless you, God bless those who serve, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you all for being here, and I'll sign. Thank you. Thank you. This is a good one, right? This is a good one. Everybody ready for this one, Adam? My first. Okay. Where's our secretary? He's got to make it work, so we have to give him the credit. Thank you very much, everybody. Very special. Thank you very much.
All right, folks. So we're still in the process of trying to get that footage from inside the venue. I got word that it should be starting very, very soon, but I'm still trying to get the footage from inside the venue. And we're trying to make sure that we have everything correct and we have everything ready to go. So stay tuned. It should be coming soon, hopefully. And it was scheduled to start, a 2 minutes ago, actually. But we're still trying to get the footage. We're still trying to make sure that everything is correct. And I'll have an update. If not, I'll switch it over as soon as I get the footage from inside the venue where President Trump and President Moon are going to be signing a free trade agreement between the U.S. and South Korea. Stay tuned.
It's an honor to be here in New York for the 73rd United Nations General Assembly, my first as Secretary of State, kind of the Super Bowl of diplomacy. Americans can be proud of how our entire team is executing on the field today. I'm thrilled to be here with my friends Nikki and John as well. Americans expect the United States to assert bold leadership on the world stage that reflects our values, and under President Trump, we are certainly leading from the front. This was clear from just the first meeting this morning, in which we issued a call for global action for the world drug problem. The scourge of drug trafficking, narcotics, production, and substance abuse is intensifying on a global scale. Within the United States, President Trump is leading a massive and effective counterattack against it. It's now time for every country to follow our lead. Later today, the President will hold bilateral meetings with President Moon of South Korea, President al-Sisi of Egypt, and President Macron of France. Whether it's security issues, economic issues, human rights, or anything else, the President is asking for countries to exert their sovereignty to solve challenges and listening to what America can do to help. This emphasis on sovereignty was, of course, the theme of President Trump's speech to the General Assembly last year. That theme will endure in his speech tomorrow, along with a recap of how his call for every nation to do its part has paid dividends for the United States and the world over this past year. For example, President Trump's leadership, combined with efforts of countries to enforce the pressure campaign, has de-escalated tensions with North Korea and brought us closer to our final goal, the final fully verified denuclearization of the DPRK, as agreed to by Chairman Kim Jong-un. Last week's summit between President Moon and Chairman Kim yielded another positive step forward, but the President remains resolute. Now is not the time to ease pressure. And as you've heard too, President Trump will address the threat of non-proliferation at the Security Council on Wednesday and the need for responsible nations to stop the spread of weapons and technologies. Among the topics that meeting will cover are North Korea, Syria, and Iran. You can bet the President will have well-deserved strong words for the Iranian regime, which is among the worst violators of UN Security Council resolutions, if not the absolute worst in the world. He'll call on every country to join our pressure campaign in order to thwart Iran's global torrent of destructive activity. Whether it's Venezuela, South Sudan, Syria, Burma, China, the estimated 25 million victims of modern slavery around the world can also count on America's support. Today is shaping up as a great first day. Lots more work to come this week. President Trump and our entire diplomatic corps look forward to the days ahead with our foreign counterparts as we work on achieving shared victories for all. Ambassador Haley.
Good morning. Happy Unga. We got a great start today with the President's event on counter-narcotics. Really, to understand this event is to understand the fact that it wasn't just a bunch of people getting into a room every country that attended had to sign a global call to action, which basically said that they were going to implement something within their own countries that dealt with how they were going to deal with the supply and demand of drugs, the international cooperation they were going to do with other countries to stop illicit drugs, and then also treatment that can be done within their own countries. And so the idea that the president was able to get 130 countries to sign on means that we are now having a global drug conversation that needed to be had for a long time. As we go through UNGA, you are seeing over 140 heads of delegations that are here in at the United Nations. We certainly are looking forward to the president's speech tomorrow. As you can tell, last year we started UNGA, and it was trying to figure out what the U.S. presence was going to be. This year, we're here with a bang. Not only is the president doing his speech, he's going to be doing a Security Council meeting. Secretary Pompeo is also doing a Security Council meeting. The Vice President's doing an event on Venezuela. And so it's all hands on deck by the United States. He will be meeting with the Secretary General. It's been an interesting time knowing that since the Secretary General's meeting last year, we have pulled out of the Paris Accord. We've pulled out of the Global Compact. We have pulled out of the Iran deal. And all of that is to say that the United States is determined to obviously be involved in multilateral organizations where we see it, but not in the way that they're mandated on what the United States does or that infringes on the American people. So with that, he will be hosting the reception, obviously, tonight with the heads of delegations, and then tomorrow night, he and the Vice President and the Secretary have agreed to host our Security Council members as well as their foreign ministers. And you know, with everything we've been able to get accomplished, whether it's the arms embargo with South Sudan, whether it's the idea that we were able to get 3 sanctions packages passed in North Korea, that we've got massive reform efforts that were done this past year, and peacekeeping mandates completely rolled over. We would not be able to do that without the Security Council, and so that meeting is going to be very important. But we look forward to a great week. Everyone is excited. The United States is always very happy to host this. New Yorkers may not be, but we're going to make it a great UNGA. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks. I'm just delighted to be here. Everybody have a copy? I've got mine. A little worn, but I've still got it. I just wanted to take a second and talk about one of the themes in the President's remarks tomorrow, and I have been around long enough to know that I'm not going to step on any of his lines, but he is going to talk and elaborate on his views on sovereignty. And I just wanted to explain that this is why this is so important for Americans, because many people consider sovereignty a kind of abstract concept. It derives obviously from the word sovereign, meaning the monarch. But it's one of the reasons I think America is exceptional, and that is we understand sovereignty not to be vested in the head of state. We understand it, as the framers said in the Constitution itself, we the people are sovereign in America. So that infringements on our sovereignty are not infringements on abstractions or infringements on the government, they're an infringement on the people themselves. We express our sovereignty through the Constitution, through our political process. It's why that's so important. And it's why we believe, and of course I'm speaking in secular terms here, that the Constitution is the highest authority that we recognize. So in a number of different ways, the President's going to address this issue. I think it's a continuing theme of his. As Secretary Pompeo said, it was a theme in his last address to the General Assembly, will be this year, and in a variety of other contexts that you'll see. Thank you.
With that, we'll open it up to questions. Steve Holland.
Mr. Secretary, will you raise with the Russians this, what you're calling an escalation of sending these S-300 missiles to Syria?
So there are many topics that we'll talk about with the Russians. I am very confident that their latest decision to move the S-300 will be amongst them. Ambassador Bolton said the most recent conversation when he met with his counterpart, now 3 weeks ago, perhaps 4 weeks ago. As I said yesterday, we're trying to find every place we can where there's common ground where we can work with the Russians. We're finding lots of places where they're working against American interests, and we will hold them accountable for so doing.
And will you meet with Lavrov while you're here?
Yes, I'm sure Sergei and I'll have our time together.
Matt Lee from the AP.
Oh,
really have anything to ask. I'm in the middle of writing something. But I will, I guess. Ambassador Bolton, when you talk about sovereignty and your threat to prosecute the International Criminal Court, do you expect the President will repeat that that threat? And exactly what is the legal basis for saying that you will prosecute ICC prosecutors or judges?
Well, as I said a moment ago, I'm not going to say anything specific about what he's going to comment on, and the authorities that I referred to in my speech to the Federalist Society are largely drawn from the American Service Members Protection Act of 2002.
John Roberts, Fox News.
Two questions. First one's not exactly in your purview, but as you spent the morning with the President, do you have any idea what's currently going on with the Deputy Attorney General?
We don't have any comment. You'll have to talk to the White House about that.
Then let me ask my second question. North Korea. You're having a lot of talks with North Korea. You're not seeing what you need to in terms of denuclearization. How long do you leave the door open before you decide this isn't working?
Yeah, John, look, you have to remember this is a process that will move forward. To set a date certain would be foolish. But make no mistake about it, the conversations that we're having are important. They're putting the opportunity to complete the denuclearization in place, and we will continue at every level to have those conversations. Some of them you will all be aware of, some of them you won't know are taking place. There's lots going on so that we can get to the place where, in this place we're this week, right? These are the UN Security Council resolutions that demanded that North Korea give up its nuclear weapons program and, even more broadly, its nuclear capabilities. Those aren't United States demands, they are the United Nations demands, and we're working to assist in implementing them and to help Chairman Kim get to the right place to honor the promise that he made to President Trump in Singapore.
Are you optimistic that he will come through on this?
Yes.
Secretary Pompeo, just to follow up on that point, President Trump said earlier today the second meeting will take place quite soon. So my specific question to you is, what does North Korea need to do before securing that meeting, or has it already achieved that privilege?
I'm not going to get into details about it, but the President said this morning they'll meet quite soon. I'm confident that will happen. I expect I'll be traveling to Pyongyang before too long as well, to make the final preparations for the second meeting between the two leaders.
Would that be before the end of the year? What is soon?
Yes, Lord willing, I'll be traveling before the end of the year.
Francesca Chinson.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'll start with you, Secretary Pompeo. North Korea says that it's looking for reciprocal actions from the United States in order to enter into a nuclear deal. What at this point would the United States be willing to give up to North Korea, since you guys have said that sanctions are not on the table? And then I have a second question on a second topic, but you might want to answer that.
So I have said repeatedly, and I shall remain steadfast, we're not going to talk about the state of the negotiations. It would be inappropriate for us to do that, or our North Korean counterparts to talk about particular deal points, things we're working on. But the fundamental principles remain the same. We expect the full, complete, verified denuclearization of North Korea, and until such time as that occurs, the economic sanctions, the sanctions that have been put in place by the United Nations Security Council, will remain in place. That's the core proposition that the President agreed to in Singapore, and it's the one we're going to continue to honor through the whole process.
Okay, then the second topic. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is among the U.S. allies who's not getting a private sit-down with the President this week, it would seem. So what does that say about the relationship between the United States and Canada right now? And what does it say about the possibility of securing a trade deal with Canada?
The President's schedule is very compressed this year in New York, and so there were a lot of requests and a lot of desires by the President to have bilaterals that simply couldn't be accommodated. He speaks with Prime Minister Trudeau by phone all the time, and it's always possible here in New York that they would have time for a pull-aside, as we call it, but there is full and open, complete communication between Prime Minister Trudeau and President Trump. That I can assure you.
Lindsay.
Emerald Robinson, One American News.
Thank you, Lindsay. This is for either Ambassador Haley or Secretary Pompeo. In an update on Pastor Brunson, there's rumors that he could be released next month. Any comment on that? Is that true? And are there conversations going on this week in regards to him and Turkish sanctions?
Yes, he could be released this month. He should have been released last month, and he should be released today, in fact. We've talked to the Turks. They know the expectation. Pastor Brunson and the other U.S. persons that are being held by Turkey all need to be released by Turkey, and they need to be done. That needs to be done immediately. And I'm sure there'll be some conversations this week in furtherance of that, but make no mistake, there'll be nothing that we share with them here that we haven't shared with them already about President Trump's demands that these innocent people, these people who have truly done nothing wrong, not be detained wrongfully in Turkey.
We move to the back of the room, John.
Thank you very much, Secretary Pompeo. My name is Majid Dili. I'm from Rudal Media Network. I have a question for you, Ambassador Bolton, or Secretary Pompeo, to answer, which is about Iraq. Ambassador Haley last week elaborated very well at the Security Council of how Iran is practically taking over Iraq and influencing what's going on there. Iran now is appointing the Speaker of the Parliament. They're planning to appoint the Prime Minister of Iraq. They're taking over the country. What does the U.S. is planning to do in order to counter Iranian influence? Do you have specific plans? And we'll try together. Thank you.
Thank you. You're speaking about the Iraqi government formation process. Yes, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I had the question right. This administration took over at a time when Qasem Soleimani and the Ayatollah were running rampant through 5 capitals in the Middle East. And we have engaged in significant activity that has begun to counter the Iranian threat. Today they remain the world's largest state sponsor of terror. It is our fervent effort to make sure that that not remain the case. We've put a number of restrictions in place. We will reimpose another set of sanctions come this November. Our actions in and around the Middle East have made clear we will not continue to accept Iran's bad behavior. In Iraq, we have been working to achieve a government that is an Iraqi national government. And we're hoping that the leaders, the people of Iraq have spoken, they had their chance to vote, and now they're in the process of forming that government. And we are working diligently to make sure that the Iraqis people, the voice that they gave during their election, is who ends up in leadership there.
A follow-on, Kim Dozier from the Daily Beast. Rudy Giuliani over the weekend called for regime change in Iran. Does that follow with the Trump administration's desires, policy?
As I've said repeatedly, regime change in Iran is not the administration's policy. As Mike Pompeo just said, we've imposed very stringent sanctions on Iran. More are coming. And what we expect from Iran is massive changes in their behavior. And until that happens, we will continue to exert what the President has called maximum pressure. That's what we intend to do.
Yes, Ambassador Haley, you're the lone person here that has been with the administration since the beginning. In the story about Rod Rosenstein on Friday, it was mentioned that he had been involved in circulating discussions about invoking the 25th Amendment to have the president removed from office. Were you ever involved in any of those discussions? Were you aware of any of those discussions? And I did have a North Korea follow-up for the Secretary.
I said yesterday on the Sunday shows that literally I have never once been in the White House where that conversation has happened. I'm not aware of any cabinet members that are even talking about that. It is completely and totally absurd. No one is questioning the president at all. If anything, we're trying to keep up the pace with him in the fact that he's got a lot he wants to accomplish very quickly, and we're going to continue to support him in the way that he does that.
I appreciate that. And Secretary Pompeo, if I may ask you a follow-up on North Korea. Before you went into the summit with Kim Jong-un in Singapore, you did not have an agreement really in place for complete denuclearization. Why should you have another summit with Kim Jong-un, a second summit the President talked about this morning, if you don't have the details in place? It just seems, even to the layman, that you sort of have the process backwards, that you would want the details in place before having a summit. And here you may do it for a second time.
Two things. Fact check. I've been with the administration since the beginning, too. I don't know that that's relevant. But I'll add, no discussion with me about the 25th Amendment anywhere either. So you can now report that there are 2 senior leaders that have said that your question was ludicrous. Second point with respect to North Korea. Look,
we went. I may ask if it's so ludicrous, and I apologize for not remembering that you were the CIA director. Obviously, you were the CIA director. If it's so ludicrous, why did the Deputy Attorney General have discussions about it behind the scenes?
I find the question ludicrous. I've been involved. I've been at the center of this administration, along with lots of other folks, from virtually day one. I think it was actually day 3 or 4. I've never heard anyone talk about it, whisper about it, joke about it in any way. I've been in a lot of meetings with a lot of senior officials from this government. Your question on North Korea, remember the history. We went at this the other way for decades, and North Korea continued to build its nuclear program, right? We tried to do details, we tried to do step for step, we tried to do trade for trade. Each of those failed. We're coming at this from a different direction. We're bringing the 2 senior leaders, the individuals who can actually make the decisions that will move this process forward, bring them together so we can continue to make progress towards what the UN Security Council has demanded and what Chairman Kim has promised he would do. That's the effort. There remains work to be done. There will be some time before we get to complete denuclearization for sure, but we've been at this the other way for an awfully long time and failed and put America in the position it finds itself today at risk from North Korean nuclear weapons.
And wouldn't it be ludicrous to have another meeting with Kim Jong-un if you don't have the details in place?
Absolutely not. If we can continue to make progress and have conversations, I think there's enormous value in that.
Gentleman in the back.
Secretary Pompeo, in your terms about denuclearization, you left out the word irreversible. Was that a mistake or deliberate?
Complete mistake. Completely irreversible. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me.
All right, folks. So we're still trying to make sure of what in the world is happening, because the time that it was supposed to start was around 15 minutes ago. It was supposed to start at 12:45 p.m. Pacific time, and now we are basically we're hanging in the balance. We don't know what's going on. We don't know at one point it's going to start, and we apologize, but at the same time, we really do not know what is going on in that venue.
Now.
And right now, we're on standby to see
Today I'm very
when it's going to
honored
happen.
host
As you guys see, give me 1 second.
President of Poland.
Okay, here we go. All right, so we're on standby. The president should come out to do the signing ceremony with President Moon of South Korea regarding a new free trade agreement between the 2 nations. It was supposed to start 15 minutes ago. We're still waiting for the footage from inside the venue. It's still scheduled. It's still going to happen, but we don't know exactly when it's going to happen. So stay tuned, folks. Again, I apologize, but it's not my fault. It's the government. That's just the way that those things work with the government. They're extremely slow. If you ever been to the DMV or to something equivalent to the DMV, you guys know that you guys are there for 6 hours. So we are waiting for the footage from inside the venue, and we should get it soon. But until then, we're going to have President Donald Trump and the President of Poland at their press conference that they had a few days ago. And as soon as we get the footage, we will put it up on your screen. Thank you.
energy to Poland, and soon our nations will launch a high-level diplomatic exchange on energy security. And Mr. President, we are now, as of a few months ago, the largest producer of energy in the world. So that's a big statement. President Duda, I also just want to talk to you about the 3Cs Summit, where Central European leaders were working hard to increase energy market access, reduce energy trade barriers, which is something we have to get done with respect to the European Union. The trade barriers, they make it very difficult for the United States, and to strengthen energy independence. The United States firmly supports these goals, and we are eager to expand commercial ties all across the region of Europe. In our meeting today, the President and I discussed our bilateral economic relationship at length. Poland has experienced more than a quarter of a century of uninterrupted economic growth, which is a very big statement. Very few can say that. And we look forward to further enhancing trade, investment, and commerce between our two great nations. My administration is committed to realizing a future of prosperity and opportunity for all Americans. This month, we celebrated the highest employment level in U.S. history. We are right now employing more people. We have more workers in the United States than at any time ever in U.S. history. I look forward to partnering with President Duda as we grow our economies together. Mr. President, thank you for joining me today. Poland has chosen its place among the free and independent nations of the world, and is a loyal ally and strategic partner of the United States, and we greatly appreciate that. We welcome the next 100 years of friendship between our two nations. Mr. President, thank you very much. Thank you.
Your Excellency, distinguished Mr. President, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted that in this year so important to Poland, the year of Poland regaining its independence, we celebrate our 100th anniversary of it, I'm able to be hosted here, that I'm at the seat of the President of the United States at the White House at Washington. And also from this perspective, from the perspective.
All right, folks. So it's starting already. Give me a second while I get it ready for you folks. Sorry about earlier that I had the wrong audio on, but it should start right now. Give me 1 second. And here we go.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here today with President Moon of South Korea to formally announce the successful completion of the new U.S.-Korea trade deal. It's a very big deal. This is a great day for the United States and a great day for South Korea. I want to thank President and Vice President. Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much. I'd like to thank our great Vice President Pence for joining us today for the ceremony, and U.S. Trade Representative Bob Lighthizer for his incredible efforts. He's worked very, very hard on this. Thank you all as well to Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and Director of National Economic Council, Larry Kudlow, for their tremendous work. Everybody's worked very, very hard. This is long in coming. Many years, actually, I will say. incoming. In a few moments, we will sign a document pledging that our countries will take the additional necessary steps to implement the new United States-Korea Trade Agreement. I want to express my gratitude to President Moon and his entire team for their dedicated efforts to reach really what we would call a historic milestone in trade, something that most people thought was not going to be happening. From day one, I promised the American people that I would renegotiate our trade deals to ensure that our agreements were fair and reciprocal. For decades, politicians have talked about fixing broken trade deals only to do absolutely nothing about them. My administration is the first to actually keep our promise and deliver. And in addition to this deal, we have many in the works, and they're fair deals, they're reciprocal deals, and they make a tremendous difference to our workers, our companies, and to the United States as a whole. The new U.S.-Korea agreement includes significant improvements to reduce our trade deficit and to expand opportunities to export American products to South Korea. In other words, we are now going to start sending products to South Korea. These outcomes give the finest American-made automobiles, innovative medicines, and agricultural crops much better access to Korean markets. I think our farmers are going to be extremely happy. It was very limited as to what they could do and what they could send, and now it's a open market, and they're going to be sending a lot more farm products. That makes me feel very good. I love our farmers. As a part of this agreement, we have also secured increased access to America's auto industry. South Korea will double the annual number of American cars sold within. In other words, we used to sell a maximum of 25, and we wouldn't even get to that number. And now we're going to $50,000. We're doubling it per manufacturer, and that's a doubling. So it's 50,000 per manufacturer cars, and that's each year. So that's a doubling of the cars per manufacturer that can enter its market, meeting U.S. safety standards. So we're going with now a U.S. safety standard. The standard was at a point that you couldn't get cars in. So we're going to the U.S. safety standard. Very important to understand. This agreement will reduce bureaucracy and increase prosperity in both of our countries. Workers in South Korea and America will find new customers and new opportunities to expand and grow. Our teams will be working hard to ensure that the terms of the deal are fully implemented. President Moon, I just want to tell you we've developed a great relationship on many different fronts. This one is on trade, but we're working very well on North Korea. A lot of very positive things are happening with Chairman Kim of North Korea, and you'll be hearing about that over the coming weeks. But I think some really, really important things are happening. As I said just a little while ago, we have an agreement to work out another summit, and we look forward to doing that. I'm going to be meeting with Chairman Kim in the not-too-distant future. The location is being worked on, the time is being worked on, and we'll be announcing it. As far as these negotiations, our two countries have set an example of friendship and cooperation for trade that rarely you see in this age. And I just want to tell you I'm very honored to be a part of it, and I'm honored to call you a friend, and I'm honored to say that the United States and South Korea have a great friendship together. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
문재인 대통령과 함께 한미 무역 협정의 아주 성공적인 새로운 타결을 공식적으로 발표하게 되어서 매우 기쁘게 생각합니다. 오늘은 미국의 굉장히 위대한 날이고 또 한국에도 매우 위대한 날입니다. 펜스 부통령이 오늘 이 서명식을 함께 해준 데 대해서 감사를 드리고 또 많은 노력을 기울여준 미국 무역 대표부 밥 라이트하우저 대표 그리고 또 스티븐 메누친 재무장관 레리 커들로 백악관 국가경제위원장에게도 많은 노력 감사드립니다. 조금 후에 우리는 새로운 한미 무역 협정을 시행하기 위한 추가적인 필요 조치에 양국이 약속하는 그러한 문건에 서명할 것입니다. 이 역사적인 그런 이정표에 도달하기 위해서 노력해준 문 대통령과 그 팀 그리고 우리 팀에 매우 감사를 드립니다. 나는 취임 첫날부터 미국 국민들에게 공정하고 또 상호 호혜적인 그러한 방식으로 무역 협정을 재협상할 것이라고 약속을 했습니다. 그리고 수십 년간 많은 정치인들이 잘못된 무역 협정을 고치겠다고 얘기를 했습니다만은 한 번도 이루어진 것은 없습니다. 우리 행정부야말로 실제 우리 약속을 했고 또 그 약속을 지킨 첫 행정부입니다. 우리는 한국뿐만 아니라 다른 그 국가와도 공정하고 또 상호 호혜적인 그러한 협상을 계속할 것입니다. 오늘 서명하게 되는 새로운 한미 무역 협정은 우리 미국의 투자 적자를 줄이고 또 미국 상품이 한국에 수출하게 되는 그런 많은 기회를 더욱더 확대할 것입니다. 이러한 결과는 아주 좋은 미국 자동차라든지 혁신적인 의약품 또 그리고 농산물이 한국 시장 접근성을 더 많이 갖게 될 것입니다. 이것은 미국의 농부들이 아주 기뻐할 것이라고 생각이 됩니다. 그리고 또 이 협정문의 일환으로서 우리는 미국의 그 자동차 산업에 훨씬 더 많은 시장 접근성을 제공하고 있습니다. 이 협정을 통해서 미국 자동차는 미국의 안전 기준에 부합되는 그런 자동차를 매년 25,000대에서 훨씬 더 많은 2배, 제조업체당 1년에 2배의 그러한 그 자동차를 한국에 수출하게 될 것입니다. 그리고 이뿐만 아니라 많은 그러한 그 관료주의라든지 그러한 것들을 없앨 것이고 한국과 미국이 서로 새로운 고객을 찾는다든지 더 많은 성장 기회를 갖게 될 것입니다. 우리 양 팀은 이 협정의 조건이 충분히 시행되도록 노력할 것입니다. 지금 한국과 미국은 여러 그 부분에 있어서 상당히 좋은 그러한 관계를 가지고 있습니다. 오늘 이 점원식은 무역에 관한 것입니다만은 북한에 있어서도 많은 긍정적인 그런 변화가 이루어지고 있습니다. 아까도 말씀드렸습니다만은 큰 진전이 이루어지고 있고 우리는 그 미북 두 번째 정상회의를 준비하고 있습니다. 장소와 날짜는 또 앞으로 협의가 될 것입니다. 다시 한번 그 문재인 대통령 또 제가 친구라고 부르는 문재인 대통령과의 협력 또 한국과의 협력에 대해서 감사드립니다.
예, 감사합니다. 한미 양국은 굳건한 한미 동맹을 토대로 세계에서 유례없는 굳건한 우위를 가지고 있습니다. 한미 FTA 협정은 한미 동맹을 경제 영역으로까지 확장하는 의미가 있습니다. 오늘 우리는 이 협정을 보다 좋은 협정으로 개정하게 되었습니다. 개정 협상이 신속하게 마무리가 되어 한미 FTA와 관련한 불확실성이 제거되고 양국 기업들이 보다 안정적인 여건에서 경제 활동을 할 수 있게 되었습니다. 또한 양국의 경제협력 관계가 보다 자유롭고 공정하며 호혜적인 방향으로 한 단계 도약하는 계기를 만들 것으로 기대합니다. 양국이 개정된 한미 FTA의 정신을 잘 살려나간다면 상호 교역과 투자를 확대하고 일자리를 창출하면서 더 나은 미래를 열어갈 수 있을 것으로 생각합니다. 한미 FTA 협상이 다른 분야에서의 협력을 공고히 하는 데도 기여할 수 있기를 기대합니다. 한미 FTA 개정 협상이 성공적으로 타결될 수 있도록 지원하신 트럼프 대통령님의 리더십에 감사드리며 양국 협상단 모두에게도 박수를 보냅니다. 감사합니다.
The Republic of Korea and the United States have been forging an unprecedentedly close friendship based on our rock-solid alliance. The free trade agreement between the Republic of Korea and the United States is significant in the sense that it expands the ROC-US alliance to economic realm as well. Today we have made amendments and modifications to improve the existing agreement. With the swift conclusion of the negotiations for the revision, uncertainties surrounding our FTA have been eliminated, and as a result, companies from both countries will now be able to do business under more stable conditions. In addition, I'm hopeful that this will provide us with a platform upon which our bilateral economic ties will be elevated to a higher level in a freer, fairer, and more mutually beneficial direction. If our two countries could live up to the spirit embodied in the revised ROC-US Free Trade Agreement, I believe that we will be able to expand mutual trade and investment, create new jobs, and usher in a better future. I hope the revision of the ROC-US FTA will also contribute towards solidifying our cooperation in other fields. I'd like to thank President Trump for his leadership role in ensuring the successful conclusion of the negotiations for the revision of this agreement. I would also like to commend all the members of our respective negotiating teams. Thank you.
I've never seen my name in Korean. Looks nice.
You can hold it up and
Thank you,
take a
yes.
picture together.
Very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, for you. Oh, thank you. Let me get that. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Quick question about South Korea. How confident are you that Brett Kavanaugh will be confirmed now?
Well, we hope he's going to be confirmed. He's a fine
Ambassador.
man,
Ambassador.
a great scholar, great at everything he's ever done. And it would be sad indeed if something happened to reroute that. This is a fine man, and we certainly hope he's going to be confirmed and quickly. His family has suffered. His family has suffered. What's going on is not something that should happen. Brett Kavanaugh is an absolute outstanding person. Hopefully, he will be confirmed quickly. Thank you very much.
All right, folks, thank you very much for joining us and choosing us as your stream of choice. There's going to be a whole bunch of live streams and videos that are going to be uploaded on the channel regarding right now the United Nations General Council and the meeting that they're having. The president is going to talk at the UN tomorrow, so make sure you guys stay tuned here live at Golden State Times. We're going to be streaming it live. That happens tomorrow. More information is going to come on our Twitter account at Gold State Times. If you don't have Twitter and you use Gab, then it's gab.ai/Golden State Times. So make sure you guys follow us. It should be up on the channel, the notification for the live stream tomorrow where President Trump is going to be talking to the United Nations. As you guys saw last year, he brought it down at the UN, folks, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen tomorrow too. And a lot of people are speculating that he's going to be talking about Iran this time. Last year it was about North Korea, and now you guys see what's happening with that. So he's going to take aim tomorrow at Iran. So we just have to see what he's going to say, folks. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be intense. And it's going to be a very good stream. So make sure you guys join us here live at Golden State Times for President Trump's speech at the UN tomorrow. All right, folks, if you guys missed any of our previous videos that we uploaded, they should be on our channel. So make sure you guys go and check them out. Smack the like button. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Click the notification bell. That way you'll get a heads up when we go live tomorrow for President Trump's speech at the UN. And any other live stream that we might have. Any videos that we upload, breaking news, all that good stuff over here at Golden State Times. Thank you so much to the moderators for coming out, keeping the chat clean and enjoyable for everyone. If you would like to help us get to the next Trump rally, which is going to happen in West Virginia this Saturday that's coming up, you can go to paypal.me/GST live. You can also do it on the super chat here on the channel. On the chat itself, it's the little money sign right next to where you type for the chat. If you'd like to help us get to the next Trump rally this Saturday in West Virginia, all contributions are greatly appreciated, and we definitely need them. We need your help, folks. So thank you so much in advance. We hope to see you guys here next time. My name is Jen. I'm from Golden State Times, and I'll see you soon. Peace.